Pulse is just so fascinating. It's such a different take on medical dramas. How was Sophie originally described to you?
Ooh, well, Sophie originally, if I think back to my the breakdown when I was auditioning, the breakdown, Sophie, it was pretty much just I got one or two sentences saying that she is a hardworking person trying to be a surgeon and will do whatever it takes to get there. And I knew exactly what to do. As an artist, I feel like that dream, right? Whatever dream you have on that shelf and having the mentality, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I understood that and I just went and rolled with that one sentence, and here we are.
Was there anything you then added to her, maybe including the backstory that wasn't provided to you?
Absolutely. Well, reading through the episodes as it went on and on, I felt like it was just so well cast with every character. I definitely, not just the ambition within Sophie. Of course, we're getting that very like simple one line because in the breakdown, they want to see who actors are when they show up to the audition, right? So like they saw people all over the world, 1,000 plus, I think, actors auditioned from all over the world. So almost like I'd say a lot of Sophie came from myself. And in the backstory, however, she's from Churubusco, Indiana. I'm from here in Toronto, so that's different. But in terms of what I injected into Sophie, the real fears and anxieties of, wanting to be a professional in the world and doing your best, whatever that is. And I certainly have a lot of fear and anxiety um, around, living up to my potential and that wanting to be, hopefully recognized one day. And something about Sophie that I really related to also was for a long time in my life. I felt and still do that like I very much define myself by what I do. Like I am an actor. And I think for Sophie, I kind of wanted to experiment with her like maybe there is more to life than our title, right? Like a lot of us, I think, in our world, it's like, what can you do? What service can you provide? And maybe who we are isn't enough. But it's like, no, maybe who you are is enough. Maybe there is more to life than work. For Sophie, she's learning to me. And I think that's what I injected into her. She's learning to enjoy the parts of life that aren't just work and aren't just saving lives. What about saving your own life and figuring out like what does love and friendship feel like beyond just an A plus on your report card, you know? Yeah.
There's so many great talented actors a part of this series. Were you eager or looking forward to working with someone or someone's in particular?
Well, going into the show, I didn't really know much of the cast going into it. I knew about Nestor. I was a big fan of Nestor Carbonell, watching Lost, watching Shogun. Oh, and congratulations to him for winning the Emmy. Like that was amazing. We were so in our group chat, we were like posting so much. We were razzing him up. It was so great. We were so proud of him. And working with him was so lovely. I just learned so much. Like you can just tell when a veteran walks on set and he's just so kind and generous and just the way that he works his prior moments, our little improvs before going into the take, and to just really see him settle into the world that we were playing in was just so fascinating. And like I really learned a lot watching him and also watching Justina as well because she's also been in the industry for a very long time also. So watching and playing with Justina Machado, I got a few scenes with her as well. And again, she's just such a pro and she's so funny and she walks on and is just like knows her stuff and has such a good energy and like really just knows like it really just feels like she knows how to balance this world. Like this is a very it's not a new industry for me. I've been doing this like 15 years, but it's new like this level I feel like getting to finally in my life, getting to work often. And that's, a blessing as an actor. That's what we're trying to do, not bartend anymore and not do all that stuff. And watching Nestor and watching Justina and even all of the rest of the cast, like I'm just so in awe of all of them. Jesse, like with the boys, like, yeah, he's amazing. He's the coolest cucumber you'd ever meet in your life. Like he's so amazing. And I was really excited to meet. I was excited to meet everybody actually. Like everybody has such a resume, which was a little bit daunting, but like this was my favorite job I've ever walked on in my life, not just because of the content and how artistically satisfying it was, but every single person from the grips to the lights to the actors, like we were such a family on set. We had barbecues together and just like hung out by the pool. And like Jack, when he landed, he just had a baby. And like, so to see like Justina balancing life and seeing like, oh, it's possible to be in this industry for a long time. And then seeing Jack with his brand new baby and seeing him juggle, like, okay, wow, we're here for 5 months. Like, we're a family. We became family like very fast. So I was excited to meet everyone, and everyone really showed up. It was good. It was a fun time.
What was medical boot camp like for you guys then?
Ooh, medical boot camp I thought was really fun because I'm such a nerd. I thought I was going to be a veterinarian when I was younger, something in the medical field. Like I love sciences and things. So I really enjoyed it. We had boot camp, probably, if you had like a surgery in an episode or something, which was probably every episode or every second episode, you were in boot camp learning your procedure. And that was, I remember my first one. We were in one of the sound stages. It wasn't dressed for set, but we were handling our prosthetics that looked so real, like the bodies, the busts and cadavers and stuff. And I remember my first boot camp before we saw the prosthetics. Josh Troke, he's our surgeon that's on staff to be our professional and let us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, and to teach us all of the words and stuff. And also Rosa was our ER nurse on staff that was also helping us in the mix. And he was like, if anybody's squeamish, let us know. If you faint, it's okay. It looks very real. Okay. And he's like, takes the blanket off, and it literally looked like a cadaver cut open on a table. It was awesome. It was so cool. And that was a lot of the rehearsals, just jumping in. You maybe had like we tried in the beginning, we landed 2 weeks early to kind of settle in to, see the hospital, which was still being built at the time. Like it wasn't fully finished being built. So we would go in to start though touching our instruments, to start figuring out like where does Sophie keep all of her stuff? Like what do her pockets feel and look like? How do you work this clamp, this thing? And then as the procedures got more intense, we like sometimes you would just have like a lunch or an hour or two between scenes. Once we started rolling, we would just grab Josh or grab whoever we needed from their scenes and like have 45 minutes, an hour or something to work out the blocking the day before. And then on the day we would have another rehearsal. And you might have your lines on the rehearsal or not. Often the lines also changed, and that was crazy. And I'm like, yo, we need to have the lines for the medical rehearsal because the dance of doing the things that Josh is teaching us to cut here, slice here, do that, but then to say all of the words too, all of a sudden the body starts glitching. And it's like, yeah, the song and dance of the medical boot camp was so, so necessary to have that time, even if it was only 45 minutes. And you figure it out. You figure it out. Yeah.
With such an adrenaline rush through the entire series, how did you all shake off a long day of being on set?
Actually, after a long day, often we would hang out together. We would have like we would Albuquerque, we were shooting in Albuquerque. So Albuquerque, um closes so early. Like bars, restaurants, everything closed at like 8 o'clock, 8:30. So nothing was really open to like have a drink at a bar or something, which was actually great because we just like hung out with each other. We would cook dinner for each other, read our lines, and like come back and do our work. And it was actually, or sometimes we would go on adventures. And one time, one weekend, we all drove up a couple of hours to go water rafting. Like there was a beautiful spas around, not in Albuquerque, but up a couple of hours, like 2.5 hours ish into Santa Fe. There's beautiful spas, and like in the mountains. So it was just like a really peaceful time to unwind. And I'm from Canada, so it was really cold. So the heat, I would just sit in my backyard and just flip through my script and rehearse and we'd barbecue together. That's usually what we did.
What were some of your favorite moments from filming, or maybe scenes you're most proud of the work you put into?
Oh, wow, there's so many. One of my favorite scenes to shoot was all of the hurricane stuff. Was really was really great to shoot. It's that kind of stuff is always very challenging. Um, it's always very challenging on the body for that many hours being so cold because it's a night shoot, and so it always feels like such an accomplishment when you get to the end of the night and you've survived. And but also having Daniela with me on that day, those days, she just like kept it so fun. And I picked up a couple of tricks from my last job to keep us warm. We were like sitting in garbage buckets filled with water to keep our feet warm because I learned on a trick, like we had heaters in our tents, but when the heat evaporates the water on your surface, and it actually makes you colder when you go back under the rain machines. So we would just sit and put our feet in buckets of like warm water and just top up with a tea kettle, and we'd just like snuggle and hug each other. And it was just me and her. Some of the other hurricane stuff was the rest of the surgeons in ER things, but something happens, and Sophie and Camila um, end up end up out in the hurricane, and me and her have an adventure. So spending those days with Daniela was really challenging and fun, and all of the surgery scenes as well, because it's not often yet in my career at least, but also as I've witnessed on TV, it's not often you really get to like touch all of the stuff you're playing with. Like often I feel like a talking head sometimes as an actor. Um, but sometimes when you got budget and you got props, you're allowed to like touch the everything. So doing the surgeries and stuff was a very challenging learning experience, like just for the actor's instrument, because we don't get to do it very often to be walking and talking and touching and doing real tasks. Um, so that was cool to be stretching that muscle. It felt very theatrical. Um, yeah, I could go on and on. I loved it all, but yeah, the surgeries and the hurricanes specifically, I thought were, oh, and we went to Miami. Oh man, it was great. Yeah. Um,
But it is such a unique take on the medical drama. And I think that's what sets it apart so different from most things. We're not like immersed in like one specific um that intense of a situation. Miami doctors are often actually not highlighted either. What we do face these kinds of, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm close to Miami. We do face these kinds of things where, the power goes out while you're in the middle, sure, of an ultrasound, or, like there's flooding, and you have to move patients around, things like that. It's actually a very realistic look at the medical drama. Excuse me, the medical community, especially here in Miami. Is that what you think is going to draw in so many viewers?
Absolutely. I truly do. And like I think it was such a smart theatrical idea to have the hurricane as a blanket over the story. And because it just adds already so much intensity, so much stake, so much action, but also the fact that that does happen in Miami to so many people, and also all of the natural disasters going on. Like it does feel like something very close to home, very real. And it is shot from a perspective where, you're getting all of the medical chaos and trauma that is very entertaining and interesting that we love, but also it feels very grounded and real, as well as if that wasn't stressful enough, it also feels like a very personal story from all of the doctors as well. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings trying to survive, not just the patients walking in the front door, but even though sometimes like doctors and surgeons feel like real life heroes, at the end of the day, doctors are people making decisions that have real life and death consequences. And it's like, wow, these are people. And that's also another really interesting thing about our show. I think that it does highlight that. And to me, that's very interesting how vulnerable people are, how vulnerable life is. Um, and that's one of the really beautiful things and beautiful takes, I think, from our show, and that I hope people really like and relate to, not just in the context of the grand hurricane of it, but also the very real human struggle of it all, the struggle and the beauty, the coming out of the hurricane. There is also, those feelings, the coming out of the darkness, as well as slipping into it. I think our show tackles those themes really beautifully. Yeah.
What are the other projects you've been busy working on lately?
Well, right now I'm trying to crochet a blanket. Um, but right now I've been back to auditioning. We've been doing press for this show. And at the moment as well, like this is the first time in my life where I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, like I don't have to have a million Joe jobs to kind of keep me afloat. So I can actually just focus on being an artist. And in all honesty, this time has been really like trying to work on myself. And like I really do believe the more we know ourselves as humans, the better actors we are. And also, this is the first time in my life I've kind of had time to process like the things in my life and the things in my career. And I've been working like just jobs, whether it was like a cashier or a nanny or something, since I was like 14 years old, just trying to like live. And this is the first time I get to kind of just slow down and relax and enjoy and kind of process the experience of Pulse and previous to this Warrior, and um actually spend time like working on, I don't know, it kind of feels like I'm in theater school again. Like I'm planning my day like, do my movement, do my voice, do something artistic and fulfilling. And when auditions come, I work on those. Fingers crossed, something comes up. I really hope we get picked up for a season two. Come on, put that on loop on mute in the back and just like keep those minutes going. If you like it, thumbs up at the end of watching April 3rd. Give it a double thumbs up at the end. I would love to make more of this show. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm ready for the next project that comes along. Yeah.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you do on our screens, Chelsea? Especially here in Pulse, you really, really shine.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to say to everybody that is watching and enjoying, thank you so much for all of your support and all of your kindness. It really, really means a lot to me. And I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Tell everybody about it. After you watch it, just put it on loop, start it again, keep watching it. But it's been such a pleasure, and yeah, I really hope you guys continue to enjoy and share and let me know what y'all think, and where you guys think the rest of the season two, is going to go. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.